The best eraser of events is time. You're welcome to my next episode. We're on page 12 of the same PMP. Listeners, I hope you are enjoying these stories. Uh, like I said in my last video, it's on health. You and your health. Dear doctor, most of it is on health. Then I think the other part of it is on law. Mm. Two important things, health and then law. Disputes. Okay, let's start. My periods have stopped. Okay, in school they will say, oh, make them move. If they have stopped, make them move. Or you say, I've missed my period, go and find them. Okay, anyway, sorry for that. Maybe my viewers are not ready for play. Okay, my periods have stopped. Question, then answer will follow. My period has stopped for no apparent reason. It was regular until last year, but since then, I've had only one. I'm surely not pregnant, and although I've lost weight, I haven't been on a good diet. I feel embarrassed to see my doctor, Asabia Poku. The name is Asabia Poku, who is living in who was living in Mamprobi. Okay, it's okay, still, who is living in Mamprobi, Accra, Ghana. So, answer. Doctor says missing your periods is most likely linked to your diet. So don't think you're starving yourself. So don't think you're starving yourself. Maybe you've been overdoing it without realizing. Especially especially if you've been exercising madly too. If you've been exercising madly too, Magly, madly too. Uh, Fresh sentence. So abandon your diet until you get this sorted out. And you need to right now. No matter how embarrassed you are, you've got to see someone immediately. Your doctor is unlikely to give you an internal examination if you tell him what you've just told me, at least initially. We go to the next question in Pedigo. Question. I've heard this name before. In fact, doctor, I saw it on a friend's hospital card. I want to know what it is so I could prevent myself from getting it. Is it contagious? And this is coming from Selassie Tema. Selassie Tema. Selassie spelled Selassie. Tema. Ghana. Okay. Or we can say a suburb of Accra, the capital of Ghana. Okay. Doctor says this highly contagious infection usually affects the skin around the nose and mouth and is most common in children. Can I exercise after a cesarean session? Dangerous. Not immediately anyway. I'm not a doctor. Now I'll come Dr. Sule. Of course, not immediately. Okay. Can I exercise after a cesarean session? Question. How soon after a cesarean section can I begin to exercise? I had a cesarean section 6 weeks ago, and I've noticed that my tummy is numb around the scar. Sometimes it prickles. I don't know how strong the scar is, but can I do postnatal exercises yet? Equia Akole, the writer is Equia Akole Chichu Awudome, Ghana. Uh, Answer. So I think this session is very good for our ladies. Mm. Answer. Doctor says any operation which cuts tissue deeply will cut some of the nerves that sense touch. It is not unusual for this numb sensation to continue for up to 6 months after a cesarean session, hernia, after a cesarean session, hernia operation, or hysterectomy. Usually, the feeling will come back. How much exercise you can do after an operation really depends on your general fitness and the strength of the muscles. By 6 weeks, you can start gentle exercises like pulling your tummy towards your backbone and keeping it firm for 30 seconds. Start to take short brisk walks, concentrating on posture. After your postnatal examination, what is this? Concentrating on posture, full stop. Then, after your postnatal examination, full stop again. Well, you can start most of your regular exercises, but moderately to about 6 months after the operation. Now we go to another uh, another question. Yes, I'm scared I have AIDS. I am scared I have AIDS. Hmm? I've been with my boyfriend, Dash, my first, for 12 years. We split up for a while, but now back together again. The thing is, I'm worried about it as I had two other relationships during our time apart. I sometimes bleed after sex, and I've read that this puts you more at risk. I don't know what causes this bleeding, but my smear tests are normal. I'd be grateful for your advice. Akusua Ufuri Bekwai, Ghana. Answer. Doctor says bleeding Doctor says bleeding after sex can make you more vulnerable to HIV dash, but it isn't a symptom of it. It means you have an open abrasion which can allow foreign blood to pass into your bloodstream, and hence an infection can be transmitted in this way. If your partner is wearing a condom during intercourse or you're wearing a female condom, the risk disappears. A paragraph. A polyp, a harmless growth or protrusion in a mucous membrane could cause your bleeding. These are rarely malignant, but a biopsy is always done is always done to make sure. Okay. If the polyp is inside the uterus, it is called an an idiometrical an, idiom, an idiometrical polyp, but it can also grow out of the glands lining the cervical canal, or some would say cervical canal. So the cervical canal. Paragraph. Polyps can Polyps can be discovered during a pelvic examination, and small ones can be removed in an outpatient clinic, usually under usually under local anesthetic. Larger or more troublesome polyps would require a DNC in hospital. Why not get this sorted out now and ask your doctor to refer you to a gynecologist? Why any bleeding between periods, spotting a bleeding after sex should always be checked out. Next question. Hmm? ladies have problems, but we don't know. Men always want to sleep, sleep, sleep. We don't think that they have problems. Okay, next question. Oh, okay, this is about men. My testicles have shrunk. We are coming to the men's problems too. Oh my God. I thought it was for ladies only. Okay, my testicles have shrunk. My husband, oh, sorry, it's not my testicles, it is his testicles. His testicles have shrunk. I'm sorry, viewers. My husband, who is 49, has been feeling under the weather for more than a year now, but didn't do anything about it until he recently noticed that his testicles are much smaller than they used to be. He's been for various tests, and the specialist has told him that the problem is too much iron in his system. Please, could you explain what's going on? Mary, Adenta, Ghana. Okay. Answer. Doctor says your husband's illness is called hemochromatosis. Hemochromatosis. It's it's actually a line. Sorry, it's actually a lifelong disease in which the body absorbs too much iron from food and drink. Full stop. Over the decades, the iron gradually builds up in various organs, such as the liver, testicles. In most cases, symptoms don't occur. In most cases, symptoms don't usually occur until middle age. Okay, we go to the next question. Are men fertile forever? Yes, it's now for the men. Huh? I know some viewers have already given their answers. Hmm? Are men fertile forever? I'm approaching the menopause and I've become quite sensitive about being unable to conceive. So it's hurtful when my husband jokes about still being able to father a child. Does a man's fertility ever lessens or become affected by age? This is unfair. How can the husband tell the wife that he can still father a child? Huh? Oh my God. Huh? Okay. Uh, does a man's fertility ever lessens or become affected by age? And the writer is Gina Awushi, Ghana. So Gina, I hope you are listening. If you are alive, I hope you are alive by God's grace. Doctor says nature is wise in that it seems to have decided when a woman's body would no longer be young enough to conceive and so carry and nurture a child. Uh, it can be it can be tiring enough for a woman to do so even when she's young and fit. That's likely to be the reason why, in the process of evolution, women have stopped evoluting. That's why, in the process of evolution, women have stopped evoluting on average at about the age of 50. Paragraph. But although the ability of his sperm becomes less likely to bring about a conception, a man does go on being fertile to some degree throughout his life. Perhaps this is because, unlike a woman, his body is not under any strain in a resulting pregnancy. So I hope viewers won't call this discrimination because God does not discriminate. Hmm? It's wise, like the doctor is saying. That is nature. Nature is wise. God is wise, in other words. Hmm? Uh, we now go to the George Okulum. The George Okulum is lawyer. Huh? Because lawyer, the more a lawyer can jaw, the better lawyer he is. Mm. The family lawyer. Recently, I received a writ of summons from a man who claimed that I owed him. I did not engage a lawyer as I was advised by some colleagues who work at the court that they could assist me to find the necessary papers at the circuit court so as to cut down costs. They informed me they informed me they informed me that later on, when the situation demands, I could then engage the services of a lawyer for the main trial. They accordingly filed the initial papers for me, after which I engaged a lawyer. It has come to light that there were fundamental errors in the papers filed, and this has been used against me in the trial. I tried explaining to the court that at the time I filed those papers, I did not have a lawyer, but the court refused to accept this explanation. May, may I know whether the action of the judge was right, because I feel that it is unjust. Yes, it's only God who is the final judge. Hmm? As for God, He doesn't make any mistakes. He takes care of all these things. Okay, who is the writer? Yobo Apia. Yobo Apia Sunyani. Yobo Apia Sunyani, Ghana. Okay, lawyer says your predicament is not new, for a lot of people get entangled with such problems. But normally, what happens is that the moment a lawyer is appointed to represent a client, he goes through documents. He goes through documents filed so far. He goes through documents filed so far in order to determine whether to amend them or not. Failure to do so may be fatal to the client. Paragraph. As at now, I do not know of the kind of documents which you filed and subsequently become your undoing. Full stop. As to whether the judge is right or wrong, I can only say that I did not have the full facts before me in order to make an informed judgment. However, it should be noted that ignorance of the law is no excuse. Yes, but in the spiritual realm, ignorance is an excuse. You don't know, how do you act rightly. That's why we have preachers. Hmm? It should be noted that ignorance of the law is no excuse. Translated in Latin as as ignoratia, as ignoratia juris non excusat. Ah, Latin. Let me repeat it. Ignoratia juris non excusat. It's a well-known legal maxim. Pleading ignorance of the law is not an excuse. In future, if when you cannot afford the services of a lawyer, approach legal aid to assist you. And unfortunately, they call them legal aid, but it turn out not to be legal, especially in developing countries. I know what I'm saying. Hmm? Okay, I was ignorant. Okay, I've done it. Depositing a deed of gifts. That's the last story. Yes, that's the last story of page 12. Depositing, depositing depositing a deed of gift. Can a deed of gift be deposited at the High Court as in the case of a will? Jacob Eswa Takwa. So that's the writer. The writer is Jacob Eswa, who lives in Takwa, Ghana. Hmm? Lawyer says a deed of gift refers to a written instrument in which a person has donated a gift to another person. Unlike a will, a deed of gift usually refers to a donation which is made to another while both the donor and the beneficiary are all alive. And in fact, the latter takes custody, the latter takes customary of the said gift during the lifetime of the donor. Person making, that is the donor, that's person making the donation. A deed of gift can be deposited at the High Court, as in the case of a will, and will be sealed, marked, and numbered for easy identification. The registrar of the court could produce it to an interested party upon request. So, yes, I think that's all for that page. Uh, we shall go to religious corner. Oh, yeah, those who love the Bible. Uh, the French will say the Bible. Those who love the Bible. We have answers probably to our last questions. What is the studies in the Bible? Answers. Then pen pal form. Then answers to Bible quiz number 038. Winners of person. Okay. I think it's going to be a short video. Maybe from there we should continue with. From there we go to sports. Okay, maybe let's see if we can. No, that may be against us. So we leave it to now next video. So as usual, viewers, I hope this time I didn't on this page I didn't make so many mistakes. Thank you very much. Ilalekai. Bye bye. May God bless you all and add me